and change its ways.
The US Secretary of State John Kerry on Wednesday met Prime Minister Narendra Modi on a trip that has seen many highs in Indo-US relationship. He briefed Prime Minister on the second India-US strategic and commercial dialogue that concluded on Tuesday. They discussed the progress in bilateral engagements since Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to US in June 2016. Secretary Kerry also shared US perspective on developments in the region and beyond with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. In turn, Prime Minister Narendra Modi conveyed satisfaction at the expanded and strengthened strategic partnership between India and the United States over the past 2 years. He also said that he looked forward to rapid progress and successful completion of decisions taken with President Obama at the recent summit meeting in June, and that he looked forward to meeting President Obama at the G20 summit in China. Tuesday saw Kerry mincing no words on terrorism emanating from Pakistan. He didn't spare India's neighbor even the next day. At an interactive session with IIT Delhi students, Kerry specifically used the term indigenous groups, stressing the fact that Pakistan has to face the reality that its homegrown networks are spreading nothing but terror in the neighborhood, which also includes Afghanistan.
It is clear that Pakistan has work to do in order to push harder against its indigenous groups that are engaged in extremist terrorist activities.
The US Secretary of State elaborated that he has spoken to Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif over taking strict action against organizations like the Haqqani Network and Lashkar-e-Toiba. He also called for defeating terrorists through consistent focus, persistent action, and willingness to adapt to evolving threats.
The battle to counter and defeat these extremists cannot and will not be won by one nation alone, nor by any single campaign. It is a global cause requiring consistent focus and persistent action, and a willingness to adapt our tactics as the threats evolve.
On Pakistan, he said that terror groups such as Daesh have bankrupt philosophy and they don't believe in making schools but shutting schools. And he also sent a strong message to Pakistan that it's high time it shuts down the sanctuaries there, the terror sanctuaries in the country. Speaking about Indo-US ties among students, Kerry said President Barack Obama and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have developed relations at a personal level, and better ties between the two democracies bodes well for the entire world. Responding to a question over India's permanent membership to the UN Security Council, Kerry said that it's possible but complicated. On another query related to South China Sea tussle, Kerry said that the US appeals to both China and Philippines to respect the verdict of International Arbitration Tribunal, which is final and binding. The purpose of Kerry's visit was to strengthen Indo-US ties, but the biggest takeaway was that both the countries being on the same page over tackling terrorism. Even on Tuesday, following the second strategic and commercial dialogue, both Kerry and Sushma Swaraj had delivered an unequivocal message to Pakistan to stop incubating terrorism on its soil. India's External Affairs Minister raised the issue of Pakistan-sponsored terrorism prominently with Kerry. Kerry agreed with India's position that Pakistan should stay away from its double standards on terrorism and act swiftly against those who targeted Mumbai and Pathankot. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has himself been raising the issue of terrorism at various international stages and during his foreign tours. He has also appealed repeatedly not to distinguish between good and bad terrorism. It now remains to be seen if Pakistan will respond to this growing chorus of acting against terrorism without any ifs or buts. With inputs from Amrit Pal and Siddhant Sibal, News Night Desk, DD News.
And we'll return to this meeting of